Donald Trump just gave an interview before the Super Bowl with Fox's Bret Baier. Donald Trump said that he wants to annex Canada. He's serious about conquering it. Here, play this clip.
The Prime Minister said this weekend to a group of Canadian businessmen, he was at a private meeting, he said that your wish for Canada to be the 51st state is a, quote, real thing. Is it a real thing?
Yeah, it is. I think Canada would be much better off being a 51st state because we lose $200 billion a year with Canada, and I'm not going to let that happen. It's too much. Why are we paying $200 billion a year, essentially in subsidy to Canada? Now, if they're a 51st state, I don't mind doing it.
Next, Donald Trump is asked about lowering grocery prices and bringing prices down. Donald Trump does not answer the question, and like a fraudster, just says, well, everyone's going to be rich. We're just going to make everybody rich. Here, play this clip.
All goes to plan. When do you think families will be able to feel prices going down, groceries, energy, or are you kind of saying to them, hang on, inflation may get worse until it gets better?
No, I think we're going to become a rich... Look, we're not that rich right now. We owe $36 trillion. That's because we let all these nations take advantage of us. Same thing, like $200 billion with Canada. We owe $300. We have a deficit with Mexico of $350 billion. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let that happen.
Again, Donald Trump not answering a very basic question he was asked there. Bret Baier then said, can you trust Elon Musk? To which Donald Trump says, well, he's not really gaining anything. Here, play this clip.
Me to find it. And I've had a great help with Elon Musk, who's been terrific.
Bottom line, you say you trust him.
Trust Elon? Oh, he's not gaining anything. In fact, I wonder how he can devote the time to it. He's so into it. But I told him do that. Then I'm going to tell him very soon, like maybe in 24 hours, to go check the Department of Education. He's going to find the same thing. Then I'm going to go to the military. Let's check the military. We're going to find billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud and abuse. But I campaigned on this, Brett.
Really? He's not gaining anything? He's gaining access to we the people's private information, and his team of Doge people have access to everything. He's an oligarch. He's involved in private businesses, and now he's been granted access to all of our data. Next up, asked whether he's going to try to bring the country together by Fox's Bret Baier, Donald Trump goes on this rant that culminates in him saying that he has banned transgender athletes from the NCAA. Just to give you the facts, there's under 10 transgender athletes in the NCAA. Play the clip.
Have you thought about how to try to bring the country together, to reach out or to find common ground? Have you thought about that or how that might go?
I'd love to do it, but I would say this. We have to come together, but to come together, there's only one thing that's going to do it, and that's massive success. Success will bring the country together, but it's hard. And I say it's hard. I just signed a bill allowing for women not to have to be punished by men in sports. In other words, men are not going to be allowed to play in sports against women. It's ridiculous.
Next up, Donald Trump is asked about the 19 state attorney generals who filed lawsuits blocking Elon Musk and Doge from accessing the Treasury Department's transaction systems and other confidential information that belongs to we the people and the public. Donald Trump says that he thinks that the orders blocking Elon Musk from getting access is crazy. He doesn't think it's crazy that Elon Musk and just random 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds are gaining access to your information. And these are 22-year-olds who go by like names like Mr. Big Balls and things like that, and people who have been posting about eugenics and some of the most like racist and despicable stuff. They have access to your data. Here, play this clip.
Some of your plays have raised some questions and had some pushbacks. 19 states attorneys general filed a lawsuit, and early Saturday, a judge agreed with them to restrict Elon Musk and his government efficiency team, Doge, from accessing Treasury Department payment and data systems. They said there was a risk of irreparable harm. What do you make of that? And does that slow you down on what you want to do?
No, I disagree with it 100%. I think it's crazy, and we have to solve the efficiency problem. We have to solve the fraud, waste, abuse, all the things that have gone in the government. You take a look at the USAID the kind of fraud in there,
and you
where
found
the money's
significant
going.
things.
Well, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of money that's going to places where it shouldn't be going, where if I read a list, you'd say this is ridiculous, and you've read the same lists, and there are many that you haven't even seen. It's crazy. It's a big scam. Now, there's some good money, and we can do that through any one of a number. I think I'd rather give it to Marco Rubio over at the State Department. Let him take care of the few good ones. So I don't know if it's kickbacks or what's going on, but the people, look, I ran on this, and the people want me to find it. And I've had a great help with Elon Musk, who's been terrific.
And next up, Donald Trump goes on this bizarre rant where he kind of loses his thought and he doesn't know the name of the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. You could see him struggling, trying to remember. Here, play this clip.
Prediction?
I hate to do it. I just say that I've watched this great quarterback who has, by the way, a phenomenal wife, okay? She's a Trump fan. She's a MAGA fan, so I happen to love her, okay? But she's a great person. I watched her being interviewed. I said, boy, that's pretty good. But she's great, and he's great. I guess you have to say that when a quarterback wins as much as he's won, I have to go with Kansas City. I have to go with Kansas City. At the same time, Philadelphia has a fantastic game. It's going to be just a great game.
Now, this was a consistent message today by the Trump administration about conquering Canada. They want to continue poking Canada, which is united right now, and Canada remains boycotting United States products. They are boycotting tourism and travel to the United States. The American tourism industry estimates that if Canadian tourism dropped by even 10%, since it's currently contributes about $20 billion, if it just dropped 10%, it would cause a $2 billion damage to the United States tourism industry and cost about 140,000 jobs. I suspect that the boycott by Canada will be closer to 50%, maybe 60%, and cost about 12 to maybe even $14 billion in damage. But here's what they're doing. Here, play this clip.
Canada, in a closed-door meeting with business leaders, outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau warned that President Trump is serious about annexing Canada to make it the 51st state. Is he right? Is President Trump serious about planning to annex Canada?
Look, I think the Canadian people many of them would love to join the United States with no tariffs, with lower taxes. And I have all kinds of neighbors down in Florida that are Canadians that are escaping many of the liberal policies and have moved in. But look, what we're talking about
yes
here
or
is
no? First of all, I think some Canadians would disagree with you.
In the Western Hemisphere?
I think some Canadians would disagree with you. But just yes or no, is he planning to annex
part
Canada?
Of his policy. Well, I don't think there's any plans to invade Canada, if that's what you're talking about. But there is a lot of people that like what we have in the United States and do not like the last 10 years of liberal progressive governance in Trudeau. But really what you're seeing is a reassertion of American leadership in the Western Hemisphere, from the Arctic all the way down to the Panama Canal. And that's what we're talking about, from Greenland to Arctic security, to the Panama Canal coming back under the United States. America has avoided our own hemisphere, where we have the energy, the food, and the critical minerals for way too long. And you're seeing a reassertion of President Trump's leadership.
Yeah, that was Mike Walls right there, the national security advisor for the Trump administration. Next up, Dana Bash asked Kristi Noem about giving Elon Musk access to your data. Here's what she says. Let's play it.
I remember a time when Republicans were very careful about and worried about the government, particularly unelected people.
Well, we can't trust the government anymore.
Having access to personal data.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You are the government.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, is that the American people now are saying that we have had our personal information shared and out there in the public.
Elon Musk has access to it.
Yeah, but Elon Musk is part of the administration that is helping us identify where we can find savings and what we can do. And he has gone through the processes to make sure that he has the authority
You're totally
the president has granted him. I am today by the work that he's doing by identifying waste, fraud, and abuse. And his information that he has is looking at programs, not focusing on personal data and information.
Not focusing on it, but he has access to it.
we'll be continuing to talk to him about what all he has access to. But this audit needs to happen to make sure that we are going through a process that adds integrity back into these programs.
And while the Trump administration has access to all of your data, they're just laughing about it. They find it funny. MAGA Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn's there with MAGA Republican Senator and the Senate Majority Leader, John Thune. That feeling when you're making America great again. Should be noted that prices are up. Housing is not more affordable. There was not peace in Ukraine in 24 hours. And now oligarchs have your data as they shut down key programs within the National Institutes of Health, the CDC, and they gut all other major government entities like the Department of Education and others. And as they're doing all of this, they're kind of making a mockery of it. With their 20-year-olds that they refer to as big balls, and they go, look, big balls is coming into this agency. And then they have this 22-year-old guy, big balls. He goes in and screws with the government workers and fires them. And they think that that's like hilarious. Over here, this was from Donald Trump before he flew to give that interview where he struggles to say the word groceries. And he's like really fascinated about that word. Here, play this clip.
I hear so much about the word groceries. I used to use groceries a lot on the trail. A word that's like sort of an old-fashioned word, groceries. But groceries is the word that's the most accurate word. And the price of groceries went through the roof. Bacon was levels like nobody's ever seen. You take a look at eggs today. I mean, the eggs are double, triple, quadruple. They're going through the roof. Now, there's some problems that may, a little outside problem with eggs maybe. But, we inherited a mess.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. That's what Donald Trump and his administration are doing right now. Trump this weekend went back to Mar-a-Lago. He spent about 50% of his time in office already at Mar-a-Lago on the taxpayer dime, not meeting a single one of his promises of lowering prices. That's not what they're focused on. They're really focused on the cruelty of it all. Anyway, hit subscribe. Help us get to 4 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.